Hey friends, it's Tamara. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be getting into this shimmery soft glam look. So let's go ahead and jump right into the tutorial, shall we? So skin prep is so important, y'all. So first I'm going to go ahead and take some toner on a cotton ball to tone her skin, make sure it's nice and clean prior to applying any product, and all products will be listed below in the description box. Now I'm going to take some moisturizer to get her skin nice and hydrated. This is my Sunday Riley moisturizer. And then I will be taking my Milk Hydro Grip primer and applying that. This is my favorite primer, y'all. Like, it grips, like, for real. It really grips and make your makeup stay in place. So yeah, I love that primer. Next, I'm going to put some translucent powder onto her brows before filling them in. Basically, this just gives us a nice matte foundation, which is going to make that product go on a lot smoother. It's going to make the brow pencil go on a lot smoother and seamless. So this is my Colourpop Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Black and Brown. So I'm just going to go ahead and start filling in her brows and shaping them. And as you can see, her brows are not like naturally super full, which I prefer it that way. I think it's a lot easier to work with, and you can just kind of fill them in and make them your own, and you know, create your own arch and all that good stuff. So it's easier for me when the brows that I'm working with aren't like super full. Like, I even do that to mine. Like, I kind of like pluck a lot of mine off so that I can just fill them in better, but that's just me. Don't be weird like me. So I'm just gonna go in and continue to fill in her brow. And of course, when you're doing it this way and you're working with brows that aren't already super full, you just kind of have to go and like compare the two just to make sure that they're nice and even. You know, they don't have to be identical twins, of course, but of course you do want them to be sisters. So you just want to compare them and just make sure that they're even for the most part. Now I'm taking my MAC 248 brush, which is a really great brush for cleaning up. It has like a perfect angle, just to make cleaning up super easy. So this is one of my favorite brushes to shape my brows with. So I'm going to take my MAC brush and then my Morphe concealer in the shade C 3.65, and I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up. Now, I really feel like filling in is like 30% of the battle. The most important part to me is the cleanup process, because this is like really where you're going to shape your brows, where you're going to get rid of any imperfections, where you're going to make that tail of your brow nice and sharp and defined. You know, if you want to make them thinner, like, this is really your time to shine. And also, once you apply your concealer and you start to clean up, you can just really kind of see anywhere that you want to like be a little bit more defined, that you want to fill in a little bit more. This is kind of really where you see it all coming together, basically. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to clean up her brow. And as you can see right here, I'm able to see that I want that front to be a little bit more defined. You don't want them to be too faded where it looks like nothing's there at all. So, you know, kind of go back and forth between your concealer and your pencil just to perfect them, basically, and, you know, get them the way that you want them to be. So you can also see that I'm using the end of the spoolie to just brush them out and blend them really nicely. Next, I'm going to take my Louise eyeshadow base in the shade Rumor 2, and also a Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush, and I'm using a patting motion to apply this to her lid to make the transition from that concealer that I cleaned up with and the eyeshadow base really seamless. So you basically just want to blend them together to have a nice you know, seamless transition to where you can't really tell which one is which. Now for her eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with my Juvias Place Masquerade mini palette. I'm going to use the brown shade in the color Burkina. And I'm just going to apply that like a little bit above her crease using patting motions, of course. That gets it nice and blended in. Use a nice firm hand to press it into that base to get it really pigmented. Next, I'm going to be dipping into the Nubian by Juvias palette. These shades don't have names, so the color that I'm using is like the darkest brown. It's like a really deep chocolate brown to, or like a dark chocolate brown to like smoke it out a little bit, not too much, but just to get some smoke action going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that in her crease. Now I'm gonna use my Louise base in the shade 0, the white shade, to go ahead and cut her crease. This brush that I'm using, it's a Morphe M224 brush. It is perfect for cutting creases. Like that I've like been looking for like the perfect brush to where I don't have to drag it very much, where I can just do a stamping motion, and this is the one. Like it has a really thin tip to where you don't have to like drag it across or anything. You can really just stamp it all the way across, and it just really perfects your cut and just makes it really sharp and defined. So yeah, I love this brush. It's perfect for cutting creases. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to cut her crease, bring it all the way to the end of her eye, and just really pat in that base so that we can apply our lid shades. So now I'm using my Louise palette, and I'm dipping into the first color. We're gonna use 4 colors on her lid. So the first color, it's the white color, it's in Charm, and I'm just gonna apply that to the very inner corner of her eye. And then I'm going to use a nice like beige color, it's called Trippin', and I'm going to place that right next to the white. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Latte, which is like a reddish brown, like it's kind of like a brick color, and I'm going to apply that to like the middle of her lid. And I'm just of course using patting motions to blend it into like the previous color so that it's a nice smooth transition. So I'm going to continue to pat that on. And then our 4th color that we're going to use is the color Bestie, which is very close to that dark brown that we used in her crease. So I just used that one instead of going back to the Nubian palette because they were just so close anyways. So just using a fluffy brush to just blend that corner out and into the crease. So now that we have that all blended in and good, we're going to use the white gold pigment from JLarue Cosmetics, and it's a super pretty shimmer. Like it's just like the perfect topper for like really anything. Like it's just a nice shimmer. So I'm just gonna apply that over like the first 3 colors. I don't take it all the way to the dark brown, just over the first 3, and it goes on and just makes it all look so seamless and come all together perfectly fine. So next I'm gonna go ahead and apply her liner. I'm using the Wet n Wild liner, their liquid liner, which is my favorite right now. I was using the NYX matte liner before, which I like that one too, but it kind of cracks a little bit, and the brush, you don't have a lot of control over it. So sometimes my wings would just be like, just get totally out of hand, and I just have to clean them up a lot because yeah, the brush, I don't like the brush in it. But in this one, the brush is almost like the tip of, it's like a marker, so it's just like a lot easier to control and just get your lines in your, just to control it. So I really like this, and I think this is going to be my new go-to. So now I'm using some concealer to go ahead and clean up her wing, just to make it nice and sharp. And I'm just using the same brush that I used to clean up her brow to get her wings like I want them. Now for her foundation, I'm using my Real Technique Expert Face Brush with my Beauty Bakerie foundation, and I'm just going to pat that into her skin. Then I'm using my Morphe concealer in the shade C3.65, the same one I cleaned up her brow with. I'm going to go ahead and apply that, and then spray some setting spray to get that blend real airbrush like. And I am using my Real Technique Deluxe Crease Brush to blend that out, of course using none other than the patting motions. I'm just gonna blend that out. I thought this was a perfect shade for her. It wasn't like too dark to where it was almost her skin color, but it wasn't too light either. So I thought it was a perfect shade to where I didn't need to use like a brightening concealer. So this is the only concealer that I used under her eye. Usually I'll go in with a brightening one, but this one was perfect for her. Now for her contour, I'm going to take this ColourPop No Filter Stick in the shade Deep Dark 197W. And I'm going to use my Real Technique Expert Concealer Brush to apply that to her nose, her forehead, her cheekbones, and around her chin. So now I'm just going to tag team between my concealer brush, my contour brush, and my sponge to just blend everything out and get a nice airbrush finish. You'll see I'm just kind of alternating between all three of those. But for the most part, I blend out her contour with the sponge. And then areas where I want to brighten it back up a little bit more, I'll use my concealer brush, and I'll basically just use those to marry the contour and the concealer together. That's really what you want to do as far as like just getting a nice seamless transition. So I'm going just back and forth between all of those, and then I'll use my sponge to just go over everything to just, you know, I really think that just gives it a really nice like an airbrush finish. So now I'm going to go ahead and preheat. I'm going to use a pressed powder in the shade Dark, a Colourpop pressed powder, and I'm just going to apply that to all the areas where I'm going to bake. So yes, honey, we call that preheating. I coined that. Now we're going to go ahead and apply our setting powder. So I really don't bake. I will apply my setting powder just with a really firm hand and press it into the skin. So that's why you can see that there's not like a lot of excess, like a lot of it is just being pressed into her skin. So this is the Beauty Bakerie flour powder in the shade Plantain. So while that's on there, while she's, you know, quote unquote baking, I'm going to go ahead and do her bottom, her waterline. So I'm just going to go ahead and smoke it out a little bit with a dark brown. Then I'm going to apply her liner, and then I'm going to apply a black shadow to set her liner as well as the top liner and her wing. So I do all that while she's baking so that any fallout can fall onto that powder and it can be swept away like we are doing now. Now I'm going to use this firm but fluffy brush to set the contour on her nose. I'm using a Fenty bronzer in the shade Coco Naughty. And then I'm using a fluffier, more loose brush to go ahead and set her contour around her face. I did spray her with some setting spray prior to using the highlight just to make sure it kind of pops and sticks. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some highlight to her nose, to her cheeks, to her chin, her cupid's bow, and anything that's left over on the brush, I'm going to just go ahead and put it on her forehead and her brow bone because I want those to shimmer a little bit, but not like too much. So whatever's left on the brush, I'll use it there. Then I'm going to use a lighter highlight on the tip of her nose and the apples of her cheeks to give like this high beam effect, just to make those spots just really light up. Now I'm going to use my blush in the shade Sweetest Cocoa by MAC. This is the perfect blush because it's like a bronzer. That's why I put a little bit on her forehead as well. And I'm going to take my lip pencil in the shade BFF3 by Colourpop and line her lips. And then the lippy that we're going to be using today, it's a nude lip. It's in the shade Oouuu. Like, that's really the shade, the name of the lip. Oouuu. It's the Shayla x Colourpop collab. But this is one of my favorite lips. Like, it's so pretty and nude, and it's just so versatile. You can use it on so many different skin tones. But, you know, just go back in with your brush and your lip liner to just kind of blend it out to your liking. Now we're going to go ahead and use our Benefit Mascara to prep her lashes for falsies. These are AliExpress lashes. Y'all know me, I buy my lashes from AliExpress in bulk, so I don't have a name for these, unfortunately. But yeah, they're just AliExpress lashes. If you guys want the link, I can give you that. But ain't it crazy how it just takes your look from like night to day? Like, goodness, lashes just complete the whole look. So I'm going to go ahead and apply her lashes, and then I'm going to take that Benefit Mascara and blend in her natural lashes with her falsies. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply some more mascara to her lower lashes to get them on the same popping level as her top lashes. I had a more voluminous lash on her before I applied these, but they just looked like too heavy because she has small eyes. So yeah, we took those off and did one that was like a little bit lighter, and those are really pretty. So I love it. So gonna use some Anastasia Beverly Hills clear brow gel to go ahead and brush her brow hairs on the same direction, put the final touches on that. Gonna spray her with some Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray and just really press that into her skin for the final touch, and that just really helps like with creasing and just kind of makes your makeups just stay all night. So yeah guys, that's the look. The rest of this video is her just sitting there and looking really pretty and talking to me because it was really nice to have interaction with someone else that's not my kids or my boyfriend during this time. So this was fun, but I think I'll continue to do these. I really like using like a model or muse and filming on them rather than myself. So let me know what you guys think about it. I liked it. So until my next video guys, follow me on Instagram at Glamxtam. But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, mind your business and drink your water. Bye guys.